exponent of 2, because squared stands for 2. So as we go to translate this, we're going to have 7n squared. Because remember, times stands for our multiplication as our operation. And again, we did not put an x in there to represent that operation because it's misunderstood as a variable. As we move to the right-hand side, we have 5 times the difference of k and m. So as we look at this, we see the phrase times the difference of. So since the phrase says times the difference of, that is going to be representing parentheses. Difference means subtraction. So we're going to be using our subtraction sign to describe the difference. And it's 5 times that whole quantity. So as we go to write this out, it's going to be 5 parenthesis k minus m, close parenthesis. So whatever operation they are describing inside the phrase times the blank of, that goes inside the parentheses for the operation. And the 2 variables, or the number in the variable that they're saying it's between, goes inside, 1 in the front and 1 in the back. And there you go, that's your translation. Now, looking at part C, we have 3 less than a number b divided by 4 is 7 more than 3 times b. Go ahead and take a moment and pause the video, try this one on your own, and when you're ready, resume playing. Okay, so step 1, we're going to locate the word or phrase that indicates our equal sign. So there's our is. So we can bring that down. Now, translate everything to the left of the equal sign. 3 less than a number b divided by 4. So a few things that we should be noting here. We got less, which means subtraction. We have the word than, which means we're going to swap the order of our terms being described. Divided by means division. So now we're going to go ahead and as we translate this, b divided by 4 is going to be the first thing we record. Less, so minus 3. Is, now we move to the right-hand side, 7 more than 3 times b. So now less meant subtraction, so more is going to mean addition. Than is still one of our turnaround words, so it's going to change our order. So 3 times b is going to be recorded first, and 7 is going to be recorded second. So as we go to translate this, 3 times b, so 3b stands for 3 times b, plus, for the more, 7. All right, now for this next set of examples, we're going to go ahead and work in reverse. We're going to now write a sentence given an equation. Now when you go to do this, what I recommend you do first is read it out loud, because a lot of times the words you're using to describe the equation as you read it are words you can use in your sentence. So if we just read through it, 12 minus 2x equals negative 5. Just in that sentence alone of reading it, we've described everything we've needed to except one operation. And that is the operation of multiplication that's happening between the 2x. So remember, anytime a number is situated right next to a variable like that, that is representing the multiplication property. So we'll have to describe that as well. So now when you go to write a sentence, you're going to spell everything out. So even our numbers. So 12, we're going to spell out. Then the operation, so minus. Now, rather than just writing 2x, we have to also describe the operation that's happening between the 2 and the x. So we're going to say minus 2 times x is, or you could say is equal to -5. Okay? All right. Now, when you're putting together your examples or you're putting together your possible sentences, what you come up with may not exactly match that of another student's because there's many ways you can describe these sentences correctly. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and write our sentence for example B. This one I recommend that you pause the video for and try on your own. Work on describing every variable you see and every operation. So go ahead and pause the video, try writing a sentence, and then we'll compare. Okay, so as we go through and get ready to describe this, you could say a variable y, or you can just go ahead and note the first variable just as a y. Both would be acceptable. So we have y. Now we have to describe this exponent. You could describe this exponent by saying y squared. You could also describe it by saying y to the power of 2. Both are acceptable. So if you chose either of those combinations, great job. I'm going to go ahead and use squared for us. So y squared. Now I have to describe this addition sign. I'm going to just go with the easy phrase of y squared plus. Now we have 3x here. Now remember, there's multiplication happening in there. So it's going to be y squared plus 3 times, describing that multiplication, x. And then you could say is equal to, or this time I'm just going to use the phrase is, w. So again, this is one way you could represent this equation as a sentence. It's not the only way. Let's look at one more example, and that's part C. So as I go through and read this, it would be a squared plus 3b equals c divided by 6. So I can start translating that. So we've got a, and I could use squared again, but this time let's change it up. Let's say a 2, fix that. A2 the second power, A2 the power of 2. I would take both of those representations. So A2 the second power plus 3b. So remember, multiplication's in there. So I'm going to describe that with my good terminology of times. So plus 3 times b is, or I could say is equal to c divided by 6. And again, I'm spelling out my numbers because I'm writing a sentence. All right, that is our lesson for today.